Over the past 15 years, Oregon has been on a massive prison buildup. We're taking the majority of our scarce public safety dollars and we're investing it into incarceration in prisons.
$1.4 billion is funded for prisons.
One of the fastest growing state agency budgets. A portion of that money invested in victim services, mental health services, addiction treatment, reentry programs would do vastly more good in terms of reducing crime and victimization.
When you're looking at public safety, a better way to frame it is communities that are safe and healthy, and that the folks who live within that community have access to what they need.
My name is Tammy Wilkins and I live in Portland, Oregon. My mom got married when I was like 10. She was a single mother for most of my childhood. There was 3 kids.
My mom had a great flower garden and she tried to create something as near as normal as she could.
I had been experiencing molestation from my stepdad. It started out just rubbing against me in the hallways or, opening the bathroom door without permission, that kind of stuff. And it just kind of proceeded from there. It was just really devastating to try to figure out what to do.
Domestic violence really throws a family, it throws women and children into crisis.
They really need a place to go for help and support. We call 8 different shelters in 5 surrounding counties. Most of the time, all 8 of those shelters are full.
All you hope is that they're going to tell you that there's someplace that you can go for one night so that you can be safe. And they say they can't because they don't have the money.
We're fighting to maintain the dollars that we already have, even though those dollars are not even funding half of what we need to be doing to keep survivors safe.
We know that if we can create safety for children, we have less addiction 10 years down the road.
So up here on the left-hand side where all the trees are, that's the park. When I was a kid, I would come here because a lot of the IV drug users used to hang out here all night long. I was about 11, 12 years old.
I remember making a conscious decision. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about work. I didn't really care about surviving as long as I could stay high because that was the first time I'd ever felt okay.
The police would come through and run names and stuff. Whoever was the slowest was the one that got caught.
And we just kind of do that dance over and over and over again. I had some early prostitution cases when I was younger, a whole lot of possession cases and some property crimes and stuff. And I went to prison 6 times. And I would get out and do the same thing all over again. By the time I got clean, I had done 15 out of 20 years in the penitentiary, and they just kept locking me up and kept locking me up. I did the crime, I get it. But if I had had an opportunity to develop some kind of a skill set rather than just sitting on my hands playing cards, all that time I spent for nothing.
What's really driving the projected prison growth are recently passed sentence enhancements that focus on addiction-driven crime.
Millions of dollars into a response to something that has already happened, as opposed to preventing and creating real safety for our communities.
The reasons why they maybe committed that crime in the first place are never actually addressed, and so the future crime isn't prevented.
We want to make sure that anyone who's in the system is less likely to commit another crime when they get out.
I did the mentor program. It's run by Central City Concern. They took me out of the penitentiary, gave me safe, clean, and sober housing. They took me to the thrift store to get me dishes. I had no idea how to cook or shop. And they carried me. And I started going to school and volunteering. I'll be the first one in my family to have a college degree.
We have choices. We have very clear choices that we can make. We can grow our prison system by another 2,000 beds and another $600 million, or we can invest resources to ensure that no one is turned away from a domestic violence shelter, that no one is turned away when they're seeking access to addiction treatment or mental health services. We can do something better with our approach to public safety.
If we were to decrease the number of people we incarcerate, there'd be more than enough money.
We just have to choose. How do we want to spend the money?